Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Dr. Siva's Vlog. This is Dr. Siva here. In this video we are going to see about management. So what is management and who should be studying management? In this video we are going to cover the topics management, concept and process. What are functions of management like planning, organizing, staffing, leading and controlling. In short term we got POLC, theories and approaches, management roles and skills. So these are the topics we will cover in this video. Management concept. Why management is important for the managers or aspiring managers? Definition of management: it is an art or technique of getting things done with or by others in an effective and efficient ways. Management is the organizational process that helps us in creating service or product from the raw materials we have at hand. It is required in all kind of organizations, whether you are having a retail business or manufacturing unit. So before going to further topic, we will see what is an organization. Organization is an entity or a company which comprises of people, and this they should have a structure, proper structure, and they should have goals. So in other words, a organization should have people in that, should have a proper structure, and they should have an objective or goal. So this comprises an organization. We'll also see what is effective and efficient. Effective is producing expected result, whereas efficient means you are producing the result with the minimum resources. So that is a definition for effectiveness and efficiency. So now we see the management process. As I told you earlier, it's in short called POLC, which includes planning. Planning means setting an organization's goal and deciding the best ways to achieve them. Next comes organizing, which involves coordinating activities and resources. Leading is managing, motivating and directing people. Controlling is mainly monitoring the people working under us, whether they are deviating from their goal. If they are deviating, we are streamlining them and make sure they are following their goal. Now the first function of the management: planning. Planning is the process of assessing an organization's goal and creating a realistic, detailed plan of action for meeting those goals. So it is a systematic activity which determines when and how who is going to perform a specific job or work. It is a continuous process which involves human resources, that's the staff in the organization, and money, man, material, machineries, which we call all M's. Then the planning activities. So what are the activities comes under planning? First one is laying down the objective, that's the objective of the organization or a department. Then developing planning premises, what should be included in the plan. Then searching alternative course of action, like plan A means what is a plan B if plan A fails. Then evaluation of various alternatives, so how good is the plan B or plan C. Then come up with the policies and procedures. Then coming up with the schedules, those sort of things. Now we'll see the types of planning. There are three types of planning. One is a strategic planning. Strategic planning is done at the top management level. Second one is tactical planning, which is done by the middle managers. And third is the operational planning, which is done by a supervisor or people at the lower level. As I mentioned, this strategic planning is done by a top management for like coming up with the goals of the organizations, etc. So they see what is the plus and minus of the organization, like strengths and weakness. Okay, from that they come up with the company vision, mission, and all those things. So that all includes strategic planning. Tactical planning is a short-term planning of an objective. This plan usually like a 1 year or less, and carried out by the middle managers like head of the departments. Tactical planning is also planned, usually aimed at a specific area or department, as a like a marketing, production, like that. The third one, operational planning, it is done by the supervisors to achieve the goals of the particular department, how they are going to implement. So that's all about the planning. Now we are going to see the second management function, organizing. Organizing is very important activity in which management brings together manpower and material. Here the staff are allocated their material like a machine, money, and these resources so that they actually implement what they have planned. So it's a very important step. And organizational structure is also here, so they come up with like who will be heading a particular project and who will be assisting them and who are the people will be working under them in order to achieve the objective. So what are the activities included in organizing? We will see that identifying the activities involved in achieving their objectives. So what needs to be done in order to achieve this goal? Then grouping the activities into a logical planning, like come up with like a SOP. So what comes first and what comes second and how to do that, those sort of things. And then assigning the activities to the people who should be doing, and then giving them some responsibilities and some power, then coordinating with them to complete the job. So coming to the third management function is leading. Leading involves like things supervising, motivating, communicating, and directing people. It is very important because if you don't supervise, things don't get done, especially if they are like new staff members or young people. Implies supervising, overseeing the work of subordinates by the superiors. Motivating is like looking at them and just motivating them, like just a pat on their back and then congratulating, those sort of things. uh, then communication, so how they are progressing is also very important. The last one is the directing, so how things need to be done is under the directing. So fourth function, controlling. Controlling involves ensuring the performance does not deviate from the standards, so they are in the right line towards achieving the objective. So here the steps includes is like coming up with the standard, what needs to be done, how needs to be done, the goal. So just like mapping, then what they are doing, how they are performing, are they going in the right direction? So these needs to be checked, and if there is a deviation, then as a manager or supervisor we need to correct them. Then coming to the next topic, management theories. There are several theories which actually creates the management of today, but we are going to discuss about the five very famous and important theory. One is the Frederick Taylor's theory of scientific management. Second, Henry Fayol's administrative management theory. Third, Max Weber bureaucratic theory of management. Fourth, Elton Mayo behavioral theory of management. And the fifth one is Douglas McGregor theory. So these five theories we'll be discussing in this video. First one, Frederick Taylor's theory of scientific management. This one very important. This paves the basis or base for the management at the time of industrial revolution. So Taylor in 1909 published the principles of scientific management, where he proposed like optimizing and simplifying jobs. By doing this, productivity will increase. So scientific management may be defined as the art of what is to be done and the best way of doing it. So he further come up with division of labor. What is the division of labor? This is a very important. Dividing a job into many specialized parts with a single worker or few workers assigned to each other. Division of labor is important to mass productions. If it is like a big, so many things to be done in, like in 10,000 pieces to be done in a big companies. So each worker is assigned a small task in a big work. Say for example, you take making a bench. So buying the wood is done, carried out by one person, and cutting is done by other person. So this is like one work is divided into so many sub work. So that is the thing called division of labor, and each one has to do the same thing again and again. In this way they become very faster. Standardization methods help them to do the things in the same manner. So this, by doing standardization, the cost will decrease. Use of time and motion study. This will help identifying the unnecessary body emotions, and it will avoid that. Now we are going to see about the Fayol's 14 principles of management, which includes division of work, authority, discipline, unit of command. Very important. Employees should have only one direct supervisor, and unit of directions, like teams with the same objective should be working under the direction of one manager using one plan. Remuneration, centralization, scalar chains. So all this comes under the Fayol's administrative management theory. The 10th one is order, then followed by equity, then stability of tenure of personnel's initiatives. Then we see Max Weber, bureaucratic theory of management. Max Weber is a German socialist. He described a theory to operate an organization in an effective way. His management is called bureaucratic management theory, which has two important elements. One is structuring an organization into a hierarchy. Then rules should be clearly defined to help manage the organization and its members. So according to his bureaucratic management, two things should be important. One is structuring an organization, and the rules should be clear and very precise. So we see the characteristics of Weber's bureaucratic organization. One is a division of labor. Specialization should be fixed, and there should be a balance between power and responsibilities. The chain of command or organization hierarchy should be constructed in such a way that information related to decisions and works can flow effectively from top to bottom. And there should be a proper rules and regulations, and should be followed by everyone. And the principles of rationality, objectivity, and consistency should be followed. And the promotion should be mainly based on the efficiency of the staff members. Next one is Elton Mayo's behavior theory of management. Professor George Elton is regarded as a father of human relations approach. So Mayo's team conducted two experiments, which is come to known by the name Hawthorne effect, which was very famous, where they work on the light effects on the people. This experiment of Myers and his team became the path or the base for the modern management system which we are enjoying today. This is a psychological experiments how the people or the employees behave when there is a change in their working conditions in terms of freedom, in terms of light, etc. So the two experiments, we are going to see the first one. So his study was very important one, as I told you earlier. So the first one was conducted by a group of engineers seeking to determine the relationship of lighting levels to workers' productivity. So surprisingly, they discovered that workers' productivity increases with the decreased lighting levels until the employees were unable to see what they were doing, after which the performance declined. The second study, supervised by a group of 5 women in a bank wiring room, they gave the women some privileges such as the right to leave their workstations without permission, take rest periods, enjoy free lunches, and have variations in pay levels and workdays. This experiment also resulted in significantly increased rates of productivity. At the end of the study, Mayo and his team concluded that the increase in the productivity is result of the supervisory arrangement rather than the changes in the lighting or other associated work benefits. The next, Douglas McGregor theory. Douglas McGregor theory is about X and Y theory. It refers to the two styles of management. One is the autocratic or authoritarian style, that is called theory X, and the second one is theory Y, managers who follow the democratic style, that is theory Y. So Douglas McGregor theory X. Here he mentioned that by nature people or staff or employees are lazy to work and they try to avoid work as far as possible. So there need to be a supervisor to monitor and make them work. So basically these people are lazy to work, and then only with the supervision they will work. So employees need to be threatened with the punishment so that they put their best efforts. So these people would not work sincerely and honestly if you are very nice to them. So you have to be like a authoritarian or autocratic leader. The next theory is a theory Y. It focuses to a different set of assumptions that's quite opposite to theory Y. So here basically employees are considered to be good and they like to work. Employees are capable of working by themselves, no need for the supervision, and they are committed to achieve the goals. So you give better rewards, they will work better. So good opportunities if present in the organization, they will achieve it and they will fulfill the objectives. So that's about the theory X and Y. Then we see the management roles. So Mintzberg come up with the 10 management roles. One is a figurehead, leader, liaison, monitor, disseminator, spokesperson, entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator. So these are the 10, and negotiator. These are the 10 Mintzberg's roles of a manager. So each role comes under three category. One is informational. Under informational we have monitor, disseminator and spokesperson. And interpersonal, under this figurehead, leader and liaison. And third one is decisional, entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator and negotiator. So these are the 10 roles managers need to play in an organization. These 10 roles, as I mentioned earlier, comes under three category: informational, interpersonal and decisional. Then we will be discussing about managerial skills. So what are the managerial skills? One is a technical skill. Technical skill means in terms of operating things, the knowledge necessary to operate, say, a machine. So how to operate the machine is a example of technical skill. So this should be known at the lower level managers like supervisors and all those things. Human skills, human skills is an ability to work with the people, how to get the things done. So you as a leader and supervisor manage people, so that is about the supervisor skill. The third one is conceptual skill. Conceptual skill is nothing but you are, as a manager, you're going to see the whole picture, like how you put together the people, the objective and the organization. So it's like a whole picture. Design skills. Design skill is about how you solve the problem, day-to-day problem which occurs in the organization. If you find this video interesting, informative and useful, please like and subscribe to my channel, Dr. Siva's Vlog. See you in my next video. Take care. God bless.